Hello and welcome. We're here to give you a concise briefing on the Invention Lab's latest report covering Agritech in Vietnam. What we're going to do is break down all the data into one key insight. There's a very specific kind of investment opportunity that is unlocking incredible value right now. So let's dive right in. All right, let's start with a number, 11.86%. This is agriculture's direct slice of Vietnam's GDP. It's a huge, foundational pillar of the economy. And as you'll see, it's on the verge of a massive tech-fueled shakeup. So here's our game plan. First, we'll size up the opportunity right there in Vietnam. Then we'll zoom out to see what's happening on a global scale. After that, we'll pinpoint the exact challenges that are sparking all this innovation, introduce you to the startups tackling them, and finally, we'll reveal the one business model that is clearly coming out on top. Okay, so first things first. What's the big idea here? It's that Vietnam's enormous, very traditional agriculture sector is the perfect place for technology to come in and really shake things up. Now, the key thing to understand is that this fragmentation isn't a weakness. For investors, it's the front door. You have a vital part of the economy that's made up of millions of small, not-so-efficient operations. Well, that's just ripe for optimization. That inefficiency, that's just another word for opportunity. But, this chart tells a much bigger story than just GDP. Think about this. That 11.86% slice supports nearly 35% of the country's entire workforce. We're talking about 17 million smallholder farmers. The potential for impact here, both economically and socially, is just massive. And you know what? This isn't just a local story. Let's pull the camera back a bit and look at the global picture, because Vietnam's opportunity is getting a huge boost from a powerful worldwide trend in agricultural technology. So check this out. The global Agritech market in 2024, it's sitting at a cool $24.19 billion US. That's a serious dynamic market, providing a strong tailwind for places like Vietnam. And the momentum? It's just incredible. The market is expected to more than double in only 5 years. That's a compound annual growth rate of over 14%. We're not talking about slow and steady growth here. This is an absolute explosion, creating tons of value and attracting a lot of capital. So what's driving all this? It really boils down to 3 big things. First, you've got all this amazing tech, IoT, AI, drones, finally making its way onto the farm. Second, the undeniable pressure of a growing world population that needs more food. And third, a real growing focus on sustainability. These global forces are exactly what Agritech is built for. Okay, let's zoom back into Vietnam and look at the real problems on the ground. Because, and this is the key, it's these challenges that are actually creating the biggest opportunities for innovation. And this right here is the big mindset shift you need to have. Every single one of these traditional bottlenecks isn't really a roadblock. It's a neon sign pointing to a billion-dollar problem just waiting for a smart tech solution. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. You've got a super fragmented industry that's just burning through resources, complicated supply chains with way too many middlemen, millions of farmers who can't get access to basic financial services, and, of course, the constant risk from weather and crazy price swings. Every single one of these? That's a huge, multi-billion-dollar opportunity. So the big question is, who's stepping up to solve all this? Let's talk about the innovators on the front lines, the new breed of startups that are systematically taking on these old challenges. What's really interesting is how the ecosystem is naturally sorting itself out into 4 main areas. You've got companies innovating in everything from producing new inputs, to using tech to optimize how farms are run, to providing financing, and of course, smoothing out the whole B2B supply chain. And wow, when you look at the actual companies, you can really feel the momentum. You have Entebel pulling in a massive $33 million Series B for its insect protein, Tepback using IoT to revolutionize shrimp farming, Camarillo building a whole integrated supply chain, and then there's TechCoop landing a huge $70 million Series A. The bottom line is, this ecosystem is healthy, it's diverse, and it's attracting very serious money. But, it's not all smooth sailing, especially in that B2B commerce space. Let's talk about a cautionary tale, Mayo. It was a social commerce platform that, despite raising a lot of money, had to shut its doors this year. And its story holds a really important lesson for everyone in the space. So what went wrong? It really all comes down to one word: control. Just being a middleman, a simple marketplace, it just wasn't enough. Without being deeply plugged into the supply chain, they couldn't control their costs. And that critical insight leads us directly to the model that is working. And that story, that lesson, leads us perfectly into our final and honestly most critical section, the winning business model. The report identifies a very clear strategy that is setting the leaders apart from everyone else. It's what the report calls the end-to-end model. So instead of just tackling one piece of the puzzle, these companies are building a whole platform. They become the farmer's one-stop shop, a single trusted partner for everything from loans and advice to guaranteeing they'll buy the crops. And if you want to see this model in action, look no further than TechCoop. They're offering the whole shebang: financing, supply chain tracking, even cloud software for farm management, and a gateway to global markets. By putting all these services together, they create this really sticky ecosystem that farmers love and that builds a powerful, defensible business. And this next number, it really says it all. $70 million. That's what TechCo raised in their recent Series A round, one of the biggest in the region's history. That's not just a big check, it's a massive vote of confidence from the market in this integrated end-to-end strategy. All right, so let's tie this all together. On one hand, you have these huge, long-standing problems in a core part of Vietnam's economy. And now, on the other hand, you have this new, smart, and well-funded tech ecosystem ready to meet them head-on. And that collision point, right where they meet, that's creating a pivotal moment, a really unique window of opportunity for investment. So the stage is set. The key players are making their moves. The billion-dollar question now is, which of these innovators, or maybe one we haven't even seen yet, is going to seize this moment and become Vietnam's very first agritech unicorn?